Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. There have been hundreds of books written about leadership and millions of courses, boot camps, etc. The primary goal of which, frankly, is to monetize coaching of leaders. And I want to try to be as non-self-serving as possible here. So I want to share what I think are the most important principles of leadership in just a few minutes. Out of respect to your time. So, the first thing is that I really believe that there is no one-size-fits-all leadership, and it really is a matter of, maybe the most important thing is adapting the job to fit you. There are some people who are brilliant at hiring or at managing or at budgeting or strategic planning or inspiring, and while all leaders have to do all of that, I encourage you to try to rejigger your job description so as to maximize your strengths and delegate your weaknesses. One of the nice things about being an executive or a leader is that you usually have a fair amount of discretion to delegate. So please, that is real important. It's axiomatic that it's better to build on our strengths than to remediate our weaknesses. So all things being equal, that's what you want to do, point one. Second, certainly everybody agrees that the most important thing that a leader does is hire wisely, because you just can't do a lot when you're not getting the best people. Now, some people you're just forced to keep, but the best thing a leader could do is, upon getting a new job, talk to a bunch of people, find out where the strengths and weaknesses are, and then be crisp. It's another of my favorite words. Be crisp in getting rid of the people who you think are not remediable to a good enough extent, and really do a thorough job search. And in a nutshell, a thorough job search is not relying on ads, placing ads, or even headhunters, because as somebody who's been a career coach to lots of people, it's dispiriting to see how many people will do a great job of preparing for the job search and then be lousy on the job. And it's very difficult for you to tell who's who. So best normally is to do a broad reaching out to everybody you trust, asking for referrals. That's certainly how Google does most of its hiring and many top companies. So please, take the time to reach out broadly to your network of respected people to get candidates for the job. And then make sure that the job interview is mainly simulations, not standard interview questions which can be coached. Don't do that at all. And then really take the time to probe references. Don't just take the references that the job seeker gives you. Especially if that person's last boss or two are not listed, make sure you talk to that person if at all possible. Then when you've got the right people on the bus, the next most important thing I think you need to do is, as a leader, is, and this is so soft, but it's true, to inspire through a combination of praise, creating a vision, and this is a little more controversial, a certain measure of fear is good. People should not be too cushy in their job. I'm not saying you get rid of half your people, but that it really is clear what kind of expectations you're going to have, that feedback is an ongoing, not once a year thing where all of your managers are informally evaluating by walking around, giving ongoing feedback so that there are no surprises, and they know that your organization is one in which only A and maybe B players are tolerated. But then those folks are celebrated with simple little things like a handwritten note from you, the kind of thing that your workers will take home and show to their families. Those can go a long way. Money generally is not the main driver. If your people are mainly asking for more money, certainly that above the average for the pay provided in your field, in your industry, that's a sign that there are problems. There's either too much bureaucracy, micromanaging, laziness, unethical behavior. So one of your jobs is to inspire with a vision that's realistic and yet exciting, And that really is possible in any field. The one I like to use as an example because it's seen as such a dull, boring field is insurance. If you are a manager or a leader, even in the insurance industry, you need to remind your workers that they are essentially selling peace of mind, and that can be of enormous value. And as long as the products, you really do make sure that the insurance products that get sold really are high quality and fair price, and the service is good, that is, it changes human beings' lives, and that needs to be portrayed not only through your words, but by your own enthusiasm and commitment. Now, enthusiasm can be shown in many ways. I tend to be a kind of a high energy guy, so I would show it in my high energy way. But if you're more low key, there certainly are great leaders that are low key, like AJ Lafley, who's the CEO of Procter & Gamble, highly respected. Be your personality. Don't be a phony. Be who you are. Show your enthusiasm in your way. And if you feel like there's additionally more that needs to be done, fine. Then be a generous corporate citizen and say, okay, 5% of what of our profits are going to go to a cause that we as a group feel are most excited about supporting. Maybe it's a local public school district. Maybe it's animals. Maybe it's medical research. Very often companies feel best about supporting that which is local. And when you do that, make sure that people know that you, my dear workers, are focusing, yes, on really helping our customers get peace of mind or a better product at a fair price, and as well, we are taking a certain amount of our profits to help those who are less fortunate. And then walk the talk. There's no leader can be respected or expect others to work hard if you are lazy or if you are unethical. Now, most leaders, when you rise to that level, to the executive level, very few of you are lazy. But sometimes we get burned out, and we start to slack, and that becomes apparent. So, I know that Oprah tells you to work smart and not long, but the reality, successful managers do work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And that normally is what's required. You can't delegate that much. You do have to really walk your talk. And the last thing I want to say, which is the most negative, is we like to think, especially in America, that we are infinitely malleable. But maybe the most important study on leadership I ever read was a poll of 60,000 highly rated leaders by the Gallup organization. And they found that the most important thing that a great leader can do, in addition to really taking the time to hire the best people, is when you've made a mistake or your designees have made a mistake, cut your losses. Hire slow, fire fast. And where possible, to avoid unnecessary lawsuits, counsel the person out. The long documentation process only tends to build enmity and a desire of that worker let go to sue. So try to teach your managers how to counsel people out to help that worker who's not right for that organization or that work group. That manager's time would be well spent to try to help that person find a better job within or outside your organization. So those are my best tips. In some, again, adapt the job description to fit your strengths rather than to spend much time remediating your weaknesses. Your job is to inspire the troops, even if your field is mundane. You want to take the time to hire slow by reaching out to your network and using simulations for hiring, and then, where possible, make a crisp decision to fire people. Well, one more point I really do want to make. We live in an era in which collaboration is respected more in a leader than being bold and individual initiative. One size does not fit all situations. Sometimes bold, decisive, individual leadership, perhaps in consultation with one or two trusted people, is what's required. Sometimes, yes, you need the broad buy-in and the meetings and the task forces and whatever. But I think, especially in an era in which innovation and progress is ever faster, I urge you to not just get sucked into the default of collaborative leadership, but on a case-by-case basis, make the decision whether you want to be crisp, bold, and individualistic, invite a couple of people to give you counsel, or you really need this broad consensus-based decision-making. When it isn't that important, for example, as in that example that I gave about what charity to donate to, yes, then there's no reason why you shouldn't get broad input. But for the decisions that are crucial to the business, in which the speed is important, really if anything, on the side of bold leadership, perhaps in consultation with one or two people. And I try to keep things brief. So this is perhaps the world's shortest course in leadership, about 11 minutes. I hope that's helpful to you. Feel free to email me. I'm Marty Nemko, Nemko, that's MNEMKO, @Comcast.net. Anyway, I'm Marty Nemko. Good luck.